from his first class with me. I think he's too self-deprecating in that anecdote. He was aggressively critical of Lincoln, as you'll see in his first paper, because Tyler was then, and while perhaps somewhat less so now, aggressively libertarian. He saw in Lincoln a proponent of a strong and even tyrannical government and took him to task for it. First of all, it says much about the quality of that paper and the quality of Tyler as a student that I could still remember. And second, it says even more that I saw Tyler's understanding of Lincoln and more generally his understanding of himself as a thinker evolve over the next 4 years. Tyler remained consistently open to both sides of any argument. For instance, although I wouldn't quite call him a JMA, we did all watch once as he literally debated himself in my War on Terrorism seminar. Literally debated himself. As I said, he's also impressive in wanting to apply what he's learned. That commitment is revealed by his noble interest in becoming a criminal defense lawyer in the future. I'm sure you'll all enjoy the speech he's about to give, and I've relished the opportunity to introduce the student who will give it. Thank you.
Thanks very much. When friends and family ask me to describe James Madison College, I never stop at a public affairs-focused liberal arts education. Inevitably, I end up telling them about my first year at Madison, so that they can learn about it the same way I did. On my first day in James Madison College, Professor Lewis Hunt facilitated a discussion on the book Tent of Miracles, which all members of my class had been assigned to read over the summer. I had not done reading. Feeling bold, I raised my hand and took a stab at what I thought the theme of the book might be, based only on the cover and the comments of my classmates who had done the reading. After my shot in the dark inevitably went awry, Professor Hunt turned to the class and said, "It's clear to me that some of you did not do the reading. I suggest you do so from now on." And in that moment, my Madison education began. I spent the next couple weeks avidly combing every assigned page in hopes that I could avoid repeating my first class. I also tried to figure out my professor's political views, believing that if I wrote things they agreed with, I'd receive better grades. After deducing what I thought to be Professor Kleinerman's views on Abraham Lincoln, I smugly turned in my very first Madison paper, criticizing the president over a perceived lack of concern for civil liberties. The next day, Professor Kleinerman strolled into class and shared an anecdote from the previous evening. His daughter had asked him who his hero was, and he responded proudly, "President Lincoln." I was convinced I had just failed my assignment. After 2 weeks of stress, we received our papers back. At the end of mine, Professor Kleinerman had written, "This is a well-argued and well-reasoned paper. I disagree with every single word." 375. It was then that I learned what Madison was all about. The JMC faculty wasn't trying to force their views on impressionable young freshmen. They were challenging us to refine our own. From that moment on, I committed to saying only that which I truly believed, even if I was the only one saying it. And if there's one thing that Madison students are good at, it's saying what we think. Of the 22 student-written letters published by the State News since last June, 64% were written by Madison students. That is a true, non-alternative fact. Subject matter included diversity of thought, sexual assault, the campus climate regarding race, and other critical issues that Spartans of all majors grappled with. In fact, I wrote one during my sophomore year after Taylor Swift removed her music from Spotify. Admittedly, not all letters were of equal gravity. But you see, that eagerness to get involved is the Madison difference. If there's one thing that can be said about every member of the Madison student body, it's that we all care a lot. Every one of us has our own pet projects and causes that we know more about and care more about than virtually anyone else. For me, it was advocating for student rights within the university judicial system. For the last 2 years, my classmate, Mitch Bild, and I, give it up for Mitch, The two of us worked with, and occasionally against, the university administration, defending students accused of policy violations and reforming university-wide regulations. Now, I can absolutely see why that doesn't appeal to everyone, but that's the beauty of a Madison education. We were given the tools we needed to succeed at whatever we set our minds to. Many of you had a passion for issues like the environment, mental health reform, diversity, and inclusion. Some of you spent your time at MSU fighting for progressive causes on small and large scales, while others advocated for the conservative principles that you hold dear. But whatever their goal, Madison students went after it with precision, assurance, and acumen. Now, I'll confess that some of my non-Madison friends have more ostensibly tangible skills than I do. But Madison fostered an environment where we were encouraged to challenge ourselves and each other, and it honed our writing, reading, and speaking skills so that we can confidently approach any new situation with our wits about us. Because of James Madison, I know that even if I don't know exactly what I'm doing when I'm facing some new challenge, I'll figure it out shortly. I can't say the same of some students in other majors. Speaking of our friends in Live and Briggs, I feel obligated to address an epidemic that I've seen plaguing our campus recently. Why is it that every Briggs student who has heard Hamilton thinks they're qualified to speak on the Federalist Papers? Okay, so first of all, we read them before they were cool. And secondly, every one of us knows that all the best Federalist Papers were written by Madison. In all seriousness though, I have to attribute so much of the drive that was instilled in us to our incredible faculty and staff. I have never encountered educators so dedicated to educating. Even Dean Garnett can be seen wandering the halls and classrooms of Case. Although, when asked how he's doing, he generally says he'd tell you but he'd have to kill you, and then disappears to the Ukraine for a month. As my 4 years as a Spartan come to a close, I am so grateful for all the opportunities afforded to me. In the future, I can only hope to be surrounded by people as bright, passionate, and, if we're being honest, intense. The drive, debate, and diligence that I've witnessed during my time at Madison have floored me. I can't wait to see how the members of our class impact the world. In such politically tumultuous times, it's uncertain where life may take us. But I am certain that no matter where the world goes, Madison students will be at the front. Thank you.